minute you go through that first door, all hell will break loose. Assume everyone with a hat on is a threat. I don't care if it's a Yankee cap, a bowler, or even a yarmulke. Yes. This is the science fiction rating system. I am wearing a hat. My name is Alex Humphrey, and I am joined by Sam Draper. Are you wearing a hat, Sam Draper?
I've got a hood. Does that count?
You've got a hood. Yeah, that means you're the enemy.
I actually don't think that. I don't think that counts.
Yeah, hood doesn't count. No, you need to be wearing a hat.
Okay, sorry.
Chris, have you got a hat? He's got a hood as well. Okay, we're all safe then. I'll take my hat off, so I won't have my magic powers. Yes, we are the science fiction rating system. We are here to rate science fiction films. And we are this week doing The Adjustment Bureau from 2011. It wasn't our choice to do The Adjustment Bureau. Someone suggested it. We wish we knew who you were.
Someone in the past.
If you're out there, person from the past, please tell us.
I bet eventually you'll be able to audio search files cheaply and easily, won't you? And I'll be able to just shove them into a website and put that in. It'll show me who did it on it, so... One day we'll find out.
Yeah, one day. So, Adjustment Bureau from 2011, written and directed by George Nolfi.
I hope that doesn't happen.
Oh, why?
Just described.
That already exists. I know it exists, but it's prohibitively expensive at the minute. But yeah.
This guy wrote The Bourne Ultimatum and Ocean's 12. That's all I could really see for credits for him. Bit weird. Based on a short story called The Adjustment Team by Philip K. Dick, the noted science fiction writer. Have you read The Adjustment Team?
Don't think I have, no.
No, Chris hasn't. I haven't either. In George Nolfi's words from an interview, this is how he describes the short story. The short story, which is worth reading, only accounts for 15 minutes of the movie. The short story's about a guy who's supposed to go to work at a certain time and a talking dog who works for the Adjustment Bureau falls asleep and doesn't bark. The guy gets to work and sees his friends frozen, and then he runs from the Bureau. So that really is literally the coffee spilling scene
to go on.
of this film. And I think he goes home. I think in the book, the main character, he's not a senator, he's like an insurance person. And he goes home and he's like freaking out to his wife, and his wife's like, what are you talking about? And then like when they go back there, it's all normal again. But then he's on the run from them because they've seen that he knows about them.
It's from 1954, this story, that's very early Dick, that is. That's
Ancient Dick.
Ancient Dick. It's not refined Dick like it gets later on. This is very
just where he just had ideas and just said them.
Talking
dog. Sloppy dick. Yeah. Talking dog. Talking dog.
Exactly.
Yeah. Anyway, the plot is this: that Matt Damon is David Norris, a man on a path to change the world. When he accidentally meets Eliza, I think it's Eliza. That's her name, isn't it?
Yeah.
Played by
Elise.
Sorry, I thought it was Elise. Played by Emily Blunt, he deviates from the plan set out for him and accidentally discovers a team of hat-wearing men called the Adjustment Bureau, who secretly run the world and shape and guide humans' lives. That's the story. I mean, I saw this ages ago in the cinema, and I remember thinking it was stupid then. And then I just forgot it.
You were right.
And I forgot the whole film. And in my brain it was... spoilers. In my brain it was science fiction. In my brain. Have you guys seen this before?
I saw it at the cinema too.
Yeah?
I didn't see it at the cinema, but I have seen it, yeah. For my sins.
Did you remember this film well?
I gave it a chance. I remember I was really giving it a good old chance. And I think it got to about 3/4 of the way through, and I was like, this is...
Oh, that much of a chance.
Well, that's a big chance. Yeah, that's a big chance. Sam, do you remember your initial thoughts on the Adjustment Bureau, or not really?
Well, I remember it was dog shit. That's kind of my only sort of... and the stupid hats.
Yeah.
I also... I forgot, but as soon as Emily Blunt turned up, I remember that this is the most annoying couple in the history of film, I think. And oh my god. We'll get to them.
Annoying. Okay, all right, we'll get to that then. Anyway, we don't start out that way. Oh, no. We start out with a very boring political film about Matt Damon's political campaign, where we see Matt Damon and he's on a boat and he's on the cover of GQ and he's in a bar and he's meeting political figures from America that I kind of was like, I think that's someone famous. Is that Rose the beta, the one that died? Is that her? Is that person? I didn't really know. I was just
he goes on the Daily Show with Jon Stewart.
He goes on the Daily Show twice, doesn't he?
Everyone does that, don't they, in these films?
Yeah. I mean, it was 3 minutes, and I was like, this is already fucking
It had got
boring.
that... A Scorsese's film is fucking awful as well. But this earlier bit had got that, like... what was that film with Sigourney Weaver in it? And it's like a political one. Is it Kevin Kline? What's that film? Where he's like a...
Dave. Is that called Dave?
Dave, yeah. It had a real Dave vibe to it, I thought. Like, really boring, like, political bollocks.
Yeah, so basically, Matt Damon is a new kind of politician because he's young, basically. That is it, isn't it? He's young.
Yeah.
And he believes in solar panels. They're the two things you find out about him.
He's supposed to be JFK, isn't he, effectively? He's a modern-day JFK. That's what they're going for, isn't it?
Yeah.
Young, go-getting Democrat.
Yeah, so he's great, and he looks like he's doing really, really well. And his campaign manager, Charlie, he's like, oh yeah, we're doing really, really well. But then, unfortunately, a New York Post article comes out, and we only find out much, much later on what this article is.
Ridiculous.
But what it is a prank from uni where he bared his arse to some people. That's all he did.
Now, is this right? Terribly just out of touch with reality and it's not anywhere near bad enough? Or is it that the political landscape has moved on so much since 2011 that this was scandal then?
Yeah, I think maybe it's that one. I think what they say in the film is that because he's already young, this made everyone think he was immature as well.
See, I think
it feels very tame though, doesn't it?
I think they're too scared to make him in any way not a nice guy. Because you think about who's the guy, I can't remember his name, there's a politician who was going to go up against Bush in '92 for the Democrat nomination, and he got found out like cheating on his wife on a yacht and all this kind of stuff. And that was a scandal which sent him off the rails, right? Gary Hart. The politician was Gary Hart. Makes sense. That's 20 years before this. So this felt to me like they perhaps originally he was like, I don't know, he not going to say slept with a 16-year-old. That's probably a bit too extreme. But like, he cheated on his wife for someone. Yeah. And they thought, oh no, we can't make him look bad. So it's
very annoying, isn't it?
It's just so not a thing that anyone would give a shit about, isn't it? It's just so stupid.
What's that brilliant documentary about the bloke running for New York and he sent a dick pic to someone?
Oh yeah,
it's really, really funny because the person was like following them anyway, and then that came out, and then the documentary becomes about that. And isn't his second name like something that sounds like penis, or to make it even worse?
Oh, it's Wiener, isn't it? It's
Wiener. That's it. Yeah. Anyway, he loses. He loses the election, and he goes to the toilet to practice his speech. And Emily Blunt is in there being all wacky because she's crashed a wedding because she was dared, but she actually dared herself to crash.
It doesn't pay off, that doesn't.
I've just written oddball alert in very big letters.
Why is it right? Like this sass relationship where everything they say to each other is a. He'll go like, oh, I'm going to go to like watch the ice hockey, and she'll be like, yeah, ice hockey's for fucking cunts. And then he'll be like, oh, well, I'm going to get a hot dog after, and she'll be like, hot dogs? What, to stick up your arse, you big fat twat? Like every line's like that, isn't it?
See, I didn't mind. I actually found her one of the few watchable things in this. I didn't mind her.
And when she goes, oh, you're better than that tool, the other guy, and a bit later on she goes, oh, he's a real tool.
Yeah. I didn't mind her.
I wanted to reach for the screen and throttle both of them, but especially Emily Blunt. She's so annoying.
What was your...
I found them quite annoying. No. I found his sort of character so simplistically...
Yeah.
Like... Yeah, what it is as a thing. It's just... I thought, okay, there's going to be something really amazing, like... If you've got like this basis level of like you need to set the character to be so basic, like there's going to be something really complicated, like Inception type shit going on soon.
Yeah, and there wasn't.
Which I think that line when she goes, "Oh, the dare was from me," I thought it was going to be, "Oh, because there's another one of her come back to tell her." I thought it was a time travel thing. Like there was like a thing going on, but she was like a weird, special sort of creature or something like that. But she's not. She's just really fucking annoying.
No, she's annoying. And her annoyance inspires him to go out and deliver the speech where he basically goes on about, oh, they've this tie isn't my tie, and we pay these people to tell us how much scuff our shoes should have, and I'm real. You may as well have just sung J-Lo's I'm Real, whatever that song is. Jenny from the Block.
Jenny from the Block. That speech he does, though, is more fake and worse than the first. That is so obviously a written speech by the scriptwriter.
Yeah.
It's so overwritten what he says. It's worse than the first speech.
Yeah. Anyway, he's all sad, and the next day, but we're getting to something happening now, and that thing is coffee spilling time. I've written coffee spilling time in huge capitals because coffee spilling time is very important. So, there is a character called Harry who is one of the Adjustment Bureau, and he has been following. He's been following David Norris, Matt Damon, for his whole life to get him to this place. Because basically, this is what it is that we've all got plans written out by this higher power, and these people, these agents on the ground, mainly they don't give a fuck about us, but the important people, they try and guide us on this path. And as the short story by Philip K. Dick said, small little events can change everything. So it's very important that Harry makes sure that David Norris spills his coffee at coffee spilling time, which is exactly this exact time. For some reason he misses the time really quick, very quickly misses the time, doesn't he? Doesn't even notice that he just gets it completely wrong, doesn't he? So then ensues a scene where he's on the bus. David Norris is on the bus, meeting up with Emily Blunt, and Harry, who's Anthony Mackie, is chasing the bus down the street, staring at his watch, trying to work out how to. I mean, why is he even like? It's so stupid, this scene. And in the end, he hits coffee spilling time, and he just goes whoop like that with his finger. Like he's fucking, like it's Bewitched or something, and then Matt Damon's like, and just throws coffee all over her, which doesn't do it. The point of him spilling the coffee was supposed to be that he ruins his own clothes, goes back and changes, doesn't get to the office at the 10 minutes he should have got to the office. So, why?
But
it's so stupid.
It is so stupid. Also, think about who Anthony Mackie is at the end of the film, right? And his role in it.
Yeah.
Why is he fuck it up in the first place? Why is he so
rubbish at his job?
Because he's the guy who's actually got the line to guard.
Yeah.
What's his motivation for any of this stuff?
I don't know. It's really stupid, and it's a really stupid scene. Then he gets hit by a car. The only interesting thing in this scene is, when she gives her number to Matt Damon, that phone number is owned by Universal Studios, and it's appeared in several films. It's been in Definitely Maybe, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, Munich. If it's called, it will ring indefinitely. As of the 10th of the 1st, 2022, the number was out of service. But it's just that number pops up, that her phone number pops up in multiple Universal films. So it's kind of funny, isn't it? Because later on they say, if you ring that number, it'll never get through anyway. But it's like, that was what would happen if you'd have rung that number.
So what you're saying is the Adjustment Bureau is true?
Hey, maybe.
We're really living in it. That's what
I've definitely seen people with hats on. So
this is a documentary, that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
In the olden days, they wouldn't really stand out so much, would they? Because everyone used to wear a hat.
Yeah.
Why are they wearing those hats?
Why are they dressed like that as well? They're dressed like people.
They don't really go into it, do they?
No.
He specifically says he could wear any hat he wants, and yet they dress with that hat.
Yeah. And also, so also the main Adjustment Bureau man is the guy from Mad Men, isn't he? And they're all dressed a bit like kind of 1950s, aren't they? But then later on, you see that they have the ability to dress like policemen or TV runners or anything. So why are they so obviously? It's
not
a bit like
time.
It's
it's like the Matrix, the Mr. Smith. You have to.
But at least they were like FBI. Like you thought, they're just FBI.
But also, they were like a simulation. They were outside of simulation, really, weren't they? It made more sense to stand out.
Yeah.
But Chris is right. That's why they're doing it, isn't it? They were trying to make a Matrix statement. Yeah. But really just missing the point about what made Matrix cool.
Completely. So anyway, David isn't late to work, and he walks into his office, and he's a shitty person, because he doesn't notice that two of his receptionists are completely frozen in time. He says hello to them, doesn't he? But he doesn't notice that they don't respond.
Past, yeah.
So he's not that nice a person, really. He doesn't go.
Oh, I didn't notice that. I was thinking they were just really didn't like him. I didn't think about that they didn't. It was a frozen.
No, he's just he says hello, but he doesn't actually bother wait for their response. Anyway, he walks into the room where his campaign manager is, and everyone's frozen, and they're doing some stuff to his brain because they need to make an intervention in his brain to make his campaign manager back him on solar panels.
This was like Dark City, wasn't it? Do you remember Dark City?
A much better film.
Oh, much better film, yeah.
Much more competent ideas about how to run the world as well.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, they've nailed it down. The guys in Dark City know what they're fucking doing. These guys, jokers, like fucking idiots. So anyway, David sees all this, so the Adjustment Bureau chase him down, and they capture him, and he wakes up in a room with like a big car park. I've written part 4. Is this the stupidest plot in human history? and to be honest, the thing about this film is this bit is stupid, but this film gets stupid.
Oh yeah,
it gets stupider the more that you know.
Yeah,
the more you find out, the stupider it is.
You think you've hit the level of stupidity of this film, and it manages to keep sinking into more stupidity. So
I think you could make this work though if you just didn't tell anyone any more information, and you just made it like art housey.
Well, that's Dark City. Dark City is that film, isn't it? They've already done it.
Yeah, definitely. So he's in the room, and there's a moment. So he's fucking like he's on a chair. He's surrounded by people. He's been knocked out. Everyone looks odd. And there's a bit when the old I just call him Old Man Hat is talking to legal, and the legal people go, "Oh, just bullshit him. That'll work." Yeah. And like as if that would work.
Yeah, I know.
Like, how do they think just turning around and going, "Oh, this is just a dream," or
I know.
"Oh, we're just CIA op." Like, what?
Well, the best thing about it is, he's like, "Look, I'm telling you now. I'm really serious about this. You cannot tell anyone about this." He's like, there's no threat at all, is it? Just like, trust me, you just don't tell anybody. Don't tell anyone about it.
Yeah.
And he's literally been just had reality like exploded for him. You know, everything's completely false. This like otherworldly beings that exist in a different plane, a different dimension, and all they're saying is you can go back. Nothing doesn't matter. Carry on as normal. Yeah,
but just don't talk about
keep
it.
To yourself. It's just so stupid.
Yeah. And then so that's
and then they think that's going to work as well. They think that that's a plan. They're like, "Oh, that's brilliant. It'll be fine. It'll be great."
Oh, that'll work. Yeah. So they explain, right? So they explain that what the Adjustment Bureau do is cause small incidences, and they list 3 small incidences: your coffee spilling, your internet going out, and you losing your keys. Mm-hmm. So the extent of their power is
your hat get blown off.
Maybe, but not a bus blowing up or someone dying. We're talking very low-level inconveniences. This is the extent of their power. They can cause a low-level inconvenience which will delay you minutes, probably. All of those things.
Isn't it? Probably seconds.
Seconds, minutes. And because of that is enough time for them to do some shit behind your back that you don't notice.
No, isn't it that... No, I don't know, actually.
They do the adjustments. They're not the intervention people. They just do the adjustments.
But that's just to get you to do the right thing in your life, isn't it?
Yeah,
to meet the right person or to...
But their power just seems so weirdly limited.
But also, it's not, because, like, he does that thing... He flicks the coffee and he flicks the floor tile up, doesn't he, to make him fall over. Why aren't they doing that more often? They can move any matter around.
Yeah. No, I don't know. And... So then they can also, the intervention team can change your, like, you're going to make a decision, they can kind of make you make a bit of a different decision, but but not like that badly different, but just a little bit different.
Yeah.
Still, though, it's pretty a serious power.
Yeah. Yeah. He says at this point they can read minds, but they can't. We find out that that's bullshit.
And that's stupid as well.
Yeah, that's stupid.
Like, what a weird thing to put in a script, like a guy... lying about power, and the next scene later they're like, "Oh yeah, what that guy told it was a lie."
Yeah,
as if like again, like that's their master plan. It's to lie about a power. He explains and he goes, "Oh, he'd already changed. So he looks in the future and he saw what you're going to say."
Yeah,
it's like, who wrote this thing? It's
but also
terrible.
They can look, so they can see your path,
and you see everything.
but they also can't see everything because later on they don't really know what's going to happen if he ends up with... Because they say to stay away from Emily Blunt, but then later on he goes, you don't really know what's going to happen if I end up with Emily Blunt. And they go, nah, actually, we don't really know.
And they have like this thing... To go any of it, you've got to accept that Matt Damon is so important. They can't reset his brain. They can't take him out of time, haven't they? Because he's so critical to everything, right?
Yep.
But if that's the case, then just change everything around to somebody else. Like you don't need to. You can literally change anything, can't you?
Yeah. Well, again, though, so later on, they say that so there's a plan that's written by the chairman, who there are many names for, but let's just say it's God.
Yeah.
But so he's got a plan, and he writes this plan. But there also exists within this world chance and fate and randomness, which the God and the angels, let's call them angels because they are angels, have no control over. How is that even possible? No one who believes in religion also... I believe in God, but I also believe in random, dumb chance. No one believes in religion, believes in random, dumb chance.
I think there's some
power.
I think there are like some theological standpoints where they say things like a system could be set in motion and then not messed with.
Yeah.
But Christianity involves that, doesn't it? Like,
but
you would say chance is why things aren't going to God's plan, whatever, couldn't you?
Yeah, because they literally say, "Oh, when you spill your coffee, your internet goes out, you lose your keys. That's us, unless it isn't us."
Unless it isn't us, yeah.
Because it just.
Well, happens. I mean, that's because Terence Stamp's bit kind of explains that later on. That's a bit later on.
Anyway, so it gets more stupid because he leaves.
Is there time travel in this?
No. He leaves. And go on.
I guess the chairman... Okay, it's just a plan.
Actually, you said that, Chris. Yeah. I will come back to the idea that maybe there is something going on weird about time, but we'll get back to that. So anyway, Matt Damon leaves, goes for a pulled pork sandwich, and Anthony Mackie comes in and he's like, I'm just going to tell you everything about us because I don't know why.
Fuck it.
Yeah. Because fuck it, yeah. And we learn, and so as I say, so at this point, any audience member is like, wow, this is stupid. And then Anthony Mackie literally tells you some more stupid things. One of them is that water affects their powers. Water.
I forgot that.
Water. And they don't mean... So at that point, they're on a boat on water. New York, Manhattan's an island surrounded by water. And also rain. Rain affects their powers. Rain, when it rains, because they don't control the rain.
That's important, isn't it? The rainy day.
That's fucking hugely important. Yeah. If you're drinking a glass of water, can they not read your mind or see your future?
I mean, coffee is made up of quite a lot of water if you spoil coffee.
Doesn't he say towards the end as well that, like, God purposely made the water be a thing to stop them?
Oh, yeah. And the hats. God did that. God did that. Yeah, it's so fucking... Like, that's what I mean. Because you think at this point, that water thing's dumb. And then later on, they make it more dumb by saying it's deliberate. It's deliberate. Okay, so water affects their powers. They are angels, basically. Let's just fucking say it now. They're angels. We're talking about God. It is that. They're all dudes as well. It's a very sexist film.
Apparently God was a woman. It was a deleted scene, but God was a woman. And they removed from the film. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that would have been interesting.
Who would have played that, do you think?
I've got it here.
Hillary Clinton.
No. Carry on, I'll find it.
So he says... So like, quite realistically, Matt Damon is just like, no, I've got more questions. So he's like, would you follow everyone around? They're like, nah, there's 9 million people in the city. We don't follow everyone around. We can't be asked for that. Just important people, like you. And anyway, he just says...
It was Shoreh Aghdashloo.
Oh.
Who, she's been in 24... She's in Star Trek Beyond as Commodore Paris. If you remember that one, Chris. I don't, but... you'd know her face. She's not just...
Oh, yeah, I know the woman, yeah.
Yeah, she's not just things.
So anyway...
I think she's in... she in The Expanse?
She's in The Expanse, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, she's the main swearing one, isn't she? The Indian
one.
Yeah, The Expanse, yeah.
So Anthony Mackie just says, look, right, this woman you're obsessed with, just don't bother. There's loads of other women. Just give up on it. Like, I wouldn't bother with it, mate. You know, just sack it off. Like, it doesn't. He's just like, just don't bother. Leave her alone. You're never going to see her because they've taken the phone number away from him, and it'd be he doesn't know her surname. and it'd be very hard for him to find her. But, and this, quite a lot of times in this film, they say to him, oh, just stop bothering, just stop thinking about her. And it's literally like that thing of like, if you tell a child, oh, no, you can't play that game, or oh, no, you can't know about that, they're going to want to do it more. Like, it seems the stupidest way to get him to avoid her is to keep telling him to avoid her. Because he just keeps thinking about her more, doesn't he?
But also, his strategy to meet her again is to go on the same bus for 3 years.
3 years! Yep, 3 years.
You'd think if you did that every day for a week or two, you might think perhaps she's moved, if she's not getting on the bus by now.
Don't the angels even take the piss out of him, going like, oh, fuck, like, how's he fucking done that? Like, what the hell's he doing? Yeah.
So I don't know if he's like... He seems just mentally ill to me, because that's not
He's got two strategies. His first is to get the same bus that she was on before for 3 years. His second was to Google her first name, right? And he says,
that's funny.
He says in the film, I googled your first name and I got 757,000 hits, right? I googled that name just when I watched this film, and I got 153 million hits. So that's interesting.
But I mean, but the better thing like that is, though, that not only does he say that, but then he then very seriously says, and none of them were you, implying that he'd been to every one of those links. He steadily, seriously looks at it and says that.
But also, it's kind of dumb, because if he put her name in New York, why wouldn't she come up? Because she's a dancer. Why wouldn't she come
Especially
up?
English.
Yeah.
He knows her accent.
Do you want to know what the top result for what was
Elise?
Elise. Do you want to know what the top? I didn't even be able to guess. Well, the top result I got for Elise is. I didn't know even. I got Elise, character from League of Legends, a deadly predator who dwells in a shuttered, lightless palace deep within the oldest city of Noxus. Anyway, she's a dancer I mean, sorry if this is rude, but I fucking hate contemporary dance. And the fact that this film sucks and then you have to watch some contemporary dance as well, this made it a lot worse for me, I'd have to say. So she's a dancer. And while they're talking, there's this it cuts back to the Adjustment Bureau dudes, and they're just like, oh, yeah, if they have a real kiss, it's going to muck everything up. Because, like, a real kiss, a proper kiss, that's like, what do they call it? Like a something event, don't they? Like...
I love the bit when they're just sat watching though, and every time he goes to kiss, they're like, they're panicking.
They have to text the campaign manager to stop them kissing, or like, this film sucks. I mean, I've written, this film sucks. I can't believe there's another hour to go. So I think, Chris, we're at the point where you were like, I'm not going to give this any more. I think this is probably 45 minutes in. This was probably...
Yeah. I think I was zoned out before that stupidity, because it was like, okay, they've got a power.
Yeah.
But it's like they haven't thought about a story to like frame as a framework around this ability.
No.
And also they've weirdly thought it's too plotted, isn't it? There's too much.
Oh God, yeah.
Like in terms of the time that passes and the convolutions to get the story going, they've got all this minutiae going on around, like Chris says, one concept that's not fleshed out at all. It's like they skipped the middle bit of writing the story, isn't it? They've gone straight to like complicated like doors opening and you've got to be here then, you've got to be here then, all this sort of stuff, but like tied to nothing but just people in hats running around doing nonsense. It's no...
Yeah. So it literally on that point, she says, come to my dance rehearsal. So the Adjustment Bureau move the dance rehearsal.
Tricky
and
stuff.
Then he's trying to find out where it is. And then they confront him and just be like, look, just stop it. And he's like... And he quite reasonably is like, but you keep putting her... Like, I've met her 3 times now, randomly. What the fuck's that about? Stop making... And they're like, oh, no, it's not us. It's not us making you meet randomly. So they're kind of all-powerful, but not all-powerful, like...
I mean, it's not... The guy's been on the same bus for 3 years. It's not completely random, is it? You know, he's clearly obsessed.
Yeah. So then he tries to get a cab, and they just make all these cabs go past him, don't they? Right?
It's so stupid.
But then in my head I was thinking, hold on a minute. We're all aware of the, a butterfly beats its wings and causes a hurricane in, Tokyo.
Japan,
Yeah. So every time they adjust a cab to go past him, aren't they adjusting thousands of other people's lives?
I thought that.
And fucking up all these... To the point where, in this, there's a fucking car accident where two people are quite badly injured.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, you caused these people to be horrifically injured just to stop me going to a fucking ballet. Like, isn't he fucking... Aren't they... Isn't the... Wouldn't... if this was real... I mean, it's so stupid, but if this was real, wouldn't someone a bit higher up just be like, look, stop it. You've made all these other people's timelines go completely out of whack? Wouldn't they?
Well, like you said, it wouldn't work because there is so much cause and effect. That, like, how would you ever control it? You couldn't control... No. You have to accept that Matt Damon is some sort of super being that all timelines revolve around him, basically, don't you? I think, to be able to accept it as a premise.
There must be some time travel then, if there's like a cause and effect situation, because it's like information is being sent backwards.
I think it's just that they say that they can see all the futures, don't they?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, it's not that they're not going into the future, but like that book they've got can show them all the possible futures. Right. Because like Terence Stamp like recites how he's going to live and die and all that sort of stuff, doesn't he? But he doesn't actively go into the future.
No.
Is Terence Stamp turning up yet?
Soon, yeah. Well, no. So David sees Elise dance, so he hits his ripple limit, so they can't carry on anymore. He's hit his ripple limit, so yeah.
His hat flies off.
Yes, yeah. So,
There should be like a noise when it goes off the head, shouldn't it?
Yeah.
So this is the bit that the film tries to kind of help the audience out a bit here, and the old man hat goes up to see some higher up hats. And they say, oh, we've worked out why they keep coming back to being in each other's lives. It's because they were meant to get together. And he says, in the 70s, 80s and 90s, right? Now, I'm sorry, how old is he that they were meant to be together in the 70s?
Weird, isn't it?
How
old is he? Let's have a look. Matt Damon.
What's his age supposed to be?
Born in 1970.
Right, so how were they... Yeah. Anyway,
childhood sweethearts.
Yeah, I guess.
That's a thing that exists.
So what they're trying to say is that they had plans originally to get together, so they feel drawn to each other, and the plans are still there, but ultimately they're not really meant to be together. But then you're just like, no, but hold on.
This made no sense, though, did it? Because they kept changing their mind about whether they're meant to be together or not. Didn't they?
And also you're just like, well, so then let them be together and let it fuck up, and then put him back on the right path. Yeah,
why not get there before? If they're literally, Anthony Mackie's literally following him around every day.
Yeah.
When he went to that toilet, why didn't they just get him out of the toilet before he could even see her that day? Yeah. It's that important they never meet, you know. They don't find it, and all their own rules, they break them like every 10 seconds, don't they?
Yeah.
Like,
there's a really funny bit where the old man hat leaves and Anthony Mackie's there and he's just like, oh yeah, I'm still cleaning up about that fucking coffee thing. Yeah, I'm still fucking cleaning up after you.
Yeah.
Like he's still like having a go at him for missing the coffee.
He's like, 3 years later and I'm still getting your fucking mess. Yeah, sorted, yeah.
So they go to a club and they dance and they have sex, and as you say, the Hammer turns up, which is Terence Stamp. He is the Hammer, and he is an angel, like I guess an older angel that's sorts shit out. I don't know. And
what is he?
Just better at doing his job than the other angels.
What skills has he got that the ones haven't got?
Just a bit more of an arsehole.
Yeah, like he just...
He's been around for long. I feel like he's gone a bit wrong.
Yeah, he's just a bit more of a...
He just seems more willing to talk in more coherent sentences for longer. That seems to be his skill, doesn't it? Like, rather than rush off, he just seems to stand still for longer. That's his...
Yeah. Well, his first thing is he gets Emily Blunt back in contact with her ex. Bang, tick, done. She's already doubting the relationship, isn't she?
Does he break her leg on the ballet thing?
Yes. Yeah, he sprains her leg. He sprains her leg later on. And then there's also this big, long speech about free will. And this bit, you know what this bit reminded me of? Have you ever seen the Minions film?
No, I haven't. I haven't got children.
So in the Minions film, they start off, they're trying to explain what the Minions are. And they say that the Minions basically, the Minions are created and they always serve like the most evil thing, right? So you see them serving dinosaurs, then you see them serving humans, then they serve Napoleon, and, you know, like, it's all quite funny. And then in your brain, you suddenly realise, hold on a minute, this film's set in the 1960s. There's some pretty fucked up bad people coming along. So and these minions would have served Adolf Hitler, basically. That's what they would have done. Okay. So they have to put...
I'm learning more about the minions than I expected here.
Well, they have to put the minions in a cave.
Stalin.
Throughout World War One and Two, they have to sideline the minions because they would have served those
Who
those
sidelines
people.
the minions?
They just get trapped in a cave for that period, so that they don't have to deal with the fact that
because
if the minions
Nazis plus minions would have been too dangerous and we'd all died, right?
Yeah, because the minions
and the filmmakers don't want to have to go there.
Yeah, because the minions always serve the worst person on the planet. So they would have served those dictators. So they have to put the minions in a cave.
So minions are bad guys then?
They kind of are, but they're kind of
minions.
Bad guys, yeah. But this film reminded me of that because he's like, what about free will? And they're all like, oh yeah, we gave you free will, and that's why World War One and World War Two happened, and the Cuban Missile. So that's all your fault. That's not our fault.
And he's so specific about it as well. He's like, it's just these particular years and these particular events happen.
Yeah.
None of the other awful, like atrocious wars happened throughout history.
No.
They're all on us. That was all us.
Yeah.
But these particular three, that's you. Yeah.
So that's
weird.
dumb. And he also, and basically, his whole argument to get Matt Damon away from seeing Emily Blunt is he says, if you spend your life with her, she'll end up teaching dance to 6-year-olds. Like, that's the hell that you're going to plunge her into.
Yeah, I didn't get this bit at all.
Like, she'll be
It made me realise, though, that I've obviously got no ambition, because I was like, sounds all right. Like, what's the problem? They're happily married. Like,
yeah, no, I didn't think it sounded that bad.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah, so basically she could, if he stays with her, she won't become a hugely famous, the greatest dancer in the country and the best choreographer ever.
That is such a American exceptionalism sort of line, isn't it? Like, that you've got to...
Yeah.
So it doesn't work on us, because we're just like, all right, whatever.
No.
but Americans will be like, yeah, you've got to be the best, or whatever. So, yeah.
So, basically he leaves Emily Blunt in a hospital with a sprained ankle.
Someone's at the door, hold on.
Oh.
Just carry on.
Oh, okay.
If there's someone in a hat, be careful.
You might as well carry on, because I think it literally means that. She sprained her ankle.
She sprains her ankle, so he leaves her in the hospital. 11 months go by. He's doing really, really well.
Don't you think the time skips in this film are really weird? Like, the way... Because, again, like, they've obviously realised the story written, it doesn't work unless you put years between events.
Yeah.
But no one really ages, do they, or anything like that? They put a tiny bit of grey in Matt Damon's hair on the side.
I mean, I didn't ever think I would be referencing such a bad film in a positive light. But you know how in Bicentennial Man, it jumps ahead to important points in his life? I feel a little bit like if this had done that, it would have made more sense. Because at least then they'd be adjusting at a point where something interesting was happening, rather than him going and seeing some ballet.
But again, so that's the problem, isn't it? It's that, like, his life is so mundane, and like even like he's like going for like political office, or whatever. But every time you meet him, he's in a boring office room with a boring man, isn't he? Like, that's
and he's not
life.
He's not even making like daring. He's not like, you don't see
anything.
No, he's not like against racism or against like homophobia. He's not daring. He's not got these platforms that you think, oh wow, well this is positive.
They don't even like have the nerve to say he's a Democrat or Republican, do they? He's just literally a politician with no thoughts about anything.
That was weird.
Yeah, and it's always like he's about to go on stage and say his points, but we'll never actually get to that bit. You just get to see him in the green room doing...
It'd be funny if he was like a fascist.
Yeah, like he was Trump.
Yeah. Like he's about to go, I grabbed her in the pussy.
Oh, yeah. That's the end of the film. They're like, he's finally all lined up, and he goes out there and he goes, right, it's the start of rounding up the fucking Jews. And the hats are like, oh, fuck, we've backed the wrong horse.
No, the guys in the hats are like, oh, yeah, it's all happened just as God wants it now. That checks out.
Yeah. So, in terms of being dumb and getting dumber, we're about to reach the zenith of how stupid this film is. So Emily Blunt's getting married, but Matt Damon's still sad. So, even though he's left it 11 months, Angel Anthony Mackie turns up and is like, right, I'm just going to basically tell you everything now. And
again,
he says she's not happy. So Matt Damon's like, right, I'm going to go and get her. And he's like, right, if you're going to get her, I'll tell you all the rules about being an angel. So, you have to wear a hat.
Go wear a hat.
You have to wear these hats, because the hats allow you to open doors into anywhere, right? Yeah. You have to turn the doorknob clockwise to travel within New York, I assume, on Earth. So you travel clockwise for Earth travel. Anti-clockwise is to travel to heaven.
Yeah.
Yeah? We're all
If you want to go anywhere where they don't have door handles, you're fucked.
Yeah,
you?
basically. But it gets more silly because it's not just that you turn the doorknob and you think, I want to be here, and you're there. There is a book with pictures of doors throughout the whole of New York that he has to memorise the doors that lead to the other doors there's like city maps and doors, and he has to memorise all this stuff because if he got the wrong door, he would come out in the wrong place.
Do you know what this made me think, though, right? Is that because they're so obsessed with the small details, aren't they?
Yeah.
There must be one angel per every door they use whose job is just to watch that door and make sure no nudge happens to make the door be damaged.
Yeah.
So like someone walks up to the door and like I don't know exactly like puts something in, like knocks something into it, and the guy's there to adjust them and go, no, just move that way. You know.
Yeah.
Or there's like
Keep
a fire
that door
breaks
clear.
out and they're like, no, the fire's not in this room.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I mean, you can. I mean, by this point, you can see that the story this is based on, like, we've gone so far away from what Philip K. Dick wrote about.
Yeah.
Like, it's so far away.
It just makes the idea of being an angel the most mundane thing possible.
Yeah.
Imagine an eternity of just watching a door or watching Matt Damon wander around doing nothing.
Yeah. And sometimes opening doors to different places.
Yeah.
There's also a brilliant bit where, very seriously, Matt Damon goes, "Oh, I could just knock someone's hat off," and Anthony Mackie's like, "Oh my god, brilliant! That's oh yeah, you guys are so good at improvising. We just can't do that. That's a great plan, knocking a hat off." And you're like, seriously, this is the level of this film. It's just if you knock their hats off, they're powerless. Or throw a bottle of water over them.
He should have done it right, and there should be a scene at the end where he like goes to the room and he's like, "Right, I've got you now, angels," and then they've all like got a little bit of rope tied into their ear, and they're like, "Checkmate, Damon.
Yeah,
You can't knock our hats off now."
Yeah. So we get some really terrible piece of like music, a song or something, as Matt Damon like
Awful.
runs around opening doors.
Yeah. I'm opening doors.
Yeah.
That kind of thing, wasn't
I'm
it?
wearing a hat. I'm opening doors. I'm fucking up people's lives forever by opening a door into a street inside and then leaving it open for a poor woman to be like, "Why is there a door to a street in the middle of my shop?" And I've seen that now, and no, I'm not going to unsee that, am I? Because again, more people. He bangs into people. He knocks people over. There's a random character says to Terence Stamp, "Sir, he's got a hat. He's in the substrate. He just went into the substrate," which is another brilliant. There's a lot of rain. There's lots of hats, and then he ends up that Emily Blunt's having second thoughts. She's in the men's toilets, where she hangs out, and he's just basically just tells her everything.
Where's her wedding, by the way?
Oh, in a random courthouse, like really bad courthouse.
It's like that. I know she's not meant to be in love with that guy, but she's so actively not in love. It's like she's been like dragged out against her will to marry.
Yeah, she's got like a mate. She's only got one witness, which I think isn't even like enough to sign off on a marriage. Is it one witness? Don't you need two?
I got married with no witnesses, I think. Didn't I?
You had people there.
Well, you were there.
Yeah, I was there. You had people. There was. You have to have two people sign the registry.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, but she only has a rubbish mate. Anyway, he tells her everything, and she realistically just thinks he's a fucking nutter, doesn't she? Like, she.
Yeah,
just
but you would,
can't-
wouldn't you?
Yeah.
But also, she gets over it really fast.
Yeah.
He explains the hat though situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he takes her through, doesn't he, onto like is it a baseball pitch or something
Yeah.
they come out on.
Yeah.
And there's a really weird shot there where they delay it. They walk through the door, right, and it follows her one way. And I guess because they're showing off the tech of having gone through the door into an outside thing. But it's like long, like 5 seconds, just nothing happens. She's just sort of there, and then he runs back into the frame, and he's like, "Oh yeah, you got to follow me."
Yeah.
It's so odd.
You know, they end up at the Statue of Liberty. Emily Blunt said that the scene was frequently interrupted by onlookers yelling out Matt Damon in an imitation of the puppet from American World Police.
Matt Damon!
Yeah, while they're filming that.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, the film gets stupider. They run around, and then they work out that anti-clockwise gets you to heaven. So they decide to go to heaven to challenge God.
It gets worse, doesn't it?
Yeah, it just gets worse and worse. This film. So they want to go to heaven to talk to God to tell him that he's wrong, I guess. And And then there's just more running around, isn't there? And they somehow know where they're going, but they don't really know where they're going. And
Everything's just like a big library, isn't it? And then like a boring roof.
And then they end up on the roof.
Yeah, on the roof.
And they kiss because they think they're going to die.
Yeah.
And then it's all like...
That's the kiss.
That's the kiss, I guess. And then Terence Stamp's all like, do you think you're going to talk to God? And then then Anthony Mackie's like, oh, I've got a letter from God. And he's like, oh, okay, bye. And just walks off. And then, like, it's one of those films where you just think, like, what was the point of all of that? Because in the end, Anthony Mackie just goes, you know what? Yeah, like,
get on with it.
You've inspired us. Like, God thinks you're great. This is great. Good luck to you. We're all behind you right now. Keep going. We changed it. So that 2 hours was completely or however long, 4 or 5 years of your life was a complete waste of time. And that's the end, isn't it?
Well,
like,
the sort of moral is like that free will is good, isn't it? That's the moral. But as you say, like...
It's kind of good, but not if it's about a war.
Yeah, no, apparently it is again now.
Yeah, now it's good.
But because they've kissed.
Yeah.
But how's that going to change anything about... The whole human nature's not changed because Matt Damon kissed Emily Blunt, has it?
No. And also, the real reason they don't want them together is because... It's literally because Matt Damon's drive is to be like in front of people and be like, oh, I want to be popular. But if he's with her, he's happy and has a happy life, and he doesn't feel the need to go into politics. And like you say, that's not that bad. Like, so what? Like,
well, doesn't Terence Stamp say you're going to do like great stuff for the country or whatever?
But we never hear what that is or know what that is.
And also, like, they've already said that, like, we could let you go and do what you want and you'll fuck it up. So they've got to intervene in some way, haven't they? So why not intervene some way differently? Why have they got to intervene? Why can't I leave him alone to go and do what he wants? Why has it got to be Matt Damon?
Yeah.
And you'd think that as soon as you take him into your other world heaven place, right, you just say, oh, that guy's a busted flush. We can't go near him again. We've fucked everything up with this bloke.
Yeah.
Not just keep on trying to make him the dude for you.
No. The final thing to say before we finish off on this. In his speech at the 2011 White House Correspondents' Dinner, President Barack Obama responded to criticism from star Matt Damon with, Matt Damon said he was disappointed in my performance. Well, Matt, I just saw the Adjustment Bureau. So basically got burnt by Barack Obama for your shitty film. I think we all know what we're going to say now, which is this film is fucking total Poppins, isn't it?
I think it's Poppins.
100%. There's no science in it at all. It's all just God and they literally go like that, and that's their magic. There's no science.
Magic book.
And it's weird because I feel like in my head there was like technology in the hat. The hat did have some kind of tech in it.
The hat lets it down while they even mention the hat. Or the detail that they mention in terms of why it all works. It's like you haven't explained. It's like typical religion. It's like you haven't actually explained anything. You've just moved it forward one step by saying there's a fucking hat involved. Like it's ridiculous. It's the worst. It's the absolute worst.
It's especially bad as well because like the triumphant payoff of the hat is that you get to see Matt Damon wear a hat at the end of the film. It's those like we've all been waiting to see Matt Damon wear a hat.
That would have been great if that had been the tagline. You asked for Matt Damon in a hat, and we gave you Matt Damon in a hat.
Do you think the stuff they're doing the mind adjusting with, is that science fiction and adjusting the minds?
There's no explanation to it.
No.
And the fact that they just keep being like, oh, you call us angels. Oh, you've called him God before. Like, they're fucking so heavily hinting that it is religion. It's almost like the film wants you to think it's religion.
Yeah.
That I think even if you want to think it's science, the film's going, no, this isn't science, it's religion. And also, because Dark City, so spoilers for Dark City though, they come out that they are aliens. It's very obvious they are aliens. Yeah. Matrix, spoilers for Matrix, it is very obvious that it's the computers running it. It's you're told. Both of those films do this a million times better. This is like the worst example of this concept.
Well, it's because It's because they don't explain anything. That's why it's just like total shit.
Yeah. Yep. So it's total Poppins, right? So where does on the Poppins list, K-Pax is the bottom of the Poppins list. Is this worse than K-Pax? It's worse than Rollerball. It's definitely worse than Rollerball.
See, K-Pax, you don't actually have to put much energy into watching it because it hasn't got much story. This one requires more energy.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's more of your brain, soul lost.
Yeah. I think it's
wasted.
I agree. Okay. So it's worse. So we're saying worse than
the worst Poppins film. 8 on the Poppins list.
This is the worst Poppins film.
So it's not even on the main list. It's at the bottom.
No, it's the bottom of the bad of the list of not on our list. Yeah. I mean, I skipped.
For context, it's below the Rollerball remake, The Incredible Mr. Limpet, Weird Science, Space Jam, Monster Trucks, and Who Framed Roger Rabbit. So it's not a great list. On K-Pax, yeah.
Not a great list.
I skipped our final thoughts, obviously. So what are? What
dog shit?
Yeah, it's just.
Well, as I said, like as soon as I remember when I saw it at the cinema. As soon as they started explaining it all at the end, but not explaining it, like just saying, "Oh yeah, it's the hat," and the way you had open the door and all this shit.
Yeah,
and it's like you haven't actually explained anything. You've just said there's a hat.
Yeah. No, it's so awful.
I think the most interesting thing about it is how do you spend $50 million on this film and just have no concept of, like, how can so many people not understand how something's so awful? You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand how on every level.
Yeah,
because there's good people making the film. There's good people doing the actual production.
It made money
stuff.
As well.
It made quite a lot of money, didn't it? Yeah.
Oh, why?
It's just so odd. I don't get it.
I mean, I know we didn't get on with the romance element, but maybe it's that. Maybe people enjoyed their.
Well, I wondered if it was an American thing because obviously they are more religious than us, and maybe it's like,
I mean, maybe they were pointed towards it by their preachers or whatever.
Yeah.
Their pastors.
It is quite vague, isn't it? Because it could be any religion, really. Although it probably is Christianity. But, yeah.
It probably is that lot, you know.
Well, I mean, literally everyone involved is a white man. Oh, except Anthony Mackie, he's a black man, isn't he? But
yeah, he's like the only one, though. Like, it's terrible. It really is terrible. I mean, it's kind of funny. It's not funny enough, though. Is it? It's not laughable enough.
Well, it's too long as well. It's not. Yeah. It's too long to be funny.
It's not funny.
No, it's not funny.
Okay. No, it's bad. Well,
it's really bad.
Whoever the person was that made us watch this, I hope they're happy.
Yeah, fuck you. Whoever you were.
So that's the Adjustment Bureau. It doesn't even make it onto the list, and it's on the Poppins list, and it's the worst. I didn't think we'd get a film worse than K-Pax, but we did. So
we found it.
What's next week? Is it sci-fi?
Is it
Barbarella?
Barbarella next week.
Yeah, it's Barbarella.
Barbarella's
firmly in space next week. So.
At
last. Phew. So join us next week for Barbarella. We don't have any correspondence, but get in touch. And as we said last week, big things coming in 2023.
Yeah, stop complaining about the list.
Revolutionary ideas, new look, new hosts, new ideas. No, not new hosts. No, not new.
New formula.
New formulas, new brave new world. We're going to fuck shit up, basically. We're going to put our hats on and go through doors and challenge the face of God with this.
We're going to bring 2 bags full of ratings.
We're going to change our
heavy
plan.
Sacks full of ratings.
The Adjustment Bureau better watch out because
we'll be adjusting their bureau.
Well, anyway, that's it. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.